Hi everyone. As NRIs, we are caught between multiple laws, multiple jurisdictions, and multiple financial systems. It's nearly impossible to know each and every rule in every country for all the transactions we make. But here is the brutal truth. Ignorance is not an excuse. And if we don't know the law, it's going to cost us everything. Over the last 3-4 years, I've had consultation calls with thousands of NRI clients. Today, I'm bringing you 3 unbelievable stories. Real shocking cases that happened right in front of my eyes. Stories of ordinary people like you and me who made simple mistakes but that costed them lakhs together. These are not just rare cases. These are actually common mistakes I see NRIs making repeatedly. And if you are not careful, you could be the next. So watch this video, avoid them at all cost. I am going to discuss 3 devastating cases I have personally witnessed. First, the story of a young NRI lady who paid 36.8 lakhs rupees in penalties. And what is her mistake? Visiting her cancer-battling father in India. Second, a unique case of an NRI who watched his investment grow from 13.7 lakhs to 1.6 crores over 18 years, only to end up paying 41 lakhs in penalty for that purchase. Third, the heart-wrenching incident of an NRI family losing half of everything they had built over 20 years because they didn't know about one local law. These stories will shock you, but more importantly, they might save you from making the same catastrophic mistakes. So stay tuned till the end. If you are new to this channel, my name is CS Keerthi. I did my CS from India, CIMA Level 3 from UK. I'm also SCA registered in UAE and AMF in India. I run an NRI consultation firm, The Consultancy. What we are going to discuss in this video had happened in last 3 years. I hope this will be a lesson for all of us. Let's start with first. This case happened 4-5 years back. Frequent visits to see a father suffering from cancer for 2 years costed a young lady, an NRI lady from Dubai, nearly 36.8 lakhs. She got notice from Indian Income Tax Department to pay the taxes and penalty on unpaid taxes for a total of 2 years. Her tax payable was around 18 lakhs for each year and she didn't have money. To save herself, she had to sell her only apartment from where the hell broke loose on her. When she got notice, she came to me and she didn't even realize what her mistake was and why IT department is behind her. Her anger, frustration, everything was justified in that context, but not ignorance of law. That has huge cost. Here is what happened. In 2016, this lady, she moved to Dubai. She was young, ambitious and hardworking. Every month she would save and transfer money from Dubai to India and she would calculate every single dirham. And honestly, we all should be doing the same. But most of us, we don't do this. When we transfer money from foreign country to India, even small differences in exchange rate or hidden fees that can cost you lakhs over years. Most traditional banks, exchanges, even some apps, they don't use real-time exchange rate from forex market. Instead, they apply mid-market rate from few hours ago and they add exchange rate markup on the top. So this 2 to 3% difference, it's going to eat every single transfer you make. Plus, banks and transfer services often hide additional fees, transaction charges, service charges, processing fees, leading to even more cuts from your hard-earned money. Over months and years, these small losses, they add up to a significant amount and we need to stop this. One smart way I have found out is by using Aspora, which gives you exact exchange rate that you see on Google with no hidden markups. For viewers of this channel, Aspora has agreed to provide a special offer. If you use my code Keerthi5 if you are sending money from UAE, UK or USA, you will get these exclusive benefits on your transfers and the link to download Aspora is available in the description. My intention is simple. You have to save as much as possible. As NRIs, we all should do when we send money even to India because as you will see in the cases today, every rupee that you save matters, especially one wrong move can cost you lakhs in penalties. Now let me tell you what happened to this young lady. Within few years, she saved enough to buy an apartment for her parents. You see, she financed it with bank loan, but she used her, NRI account. And purchasing an apartment in her name was a symbol of pride she had achieved abroad. Then 2020 arrived. Her father was diagnosed with cancer. So she started flying back and forth for his treatment, weeks at a time, sometimes even months. Flying from Dubai to India is not difficult because in 3 hours you're going to land in India, and everyone does that. She traveled for everything: chemo sessions, surgery, ICU stays, and when your parent is dying, your focus will not be on anything else, right? You just show up. That's the big blunder she did. In 2024, she got a showcase notice from IT department, and they wanted to know where is the source of fund with which she had funded her apartment. And she replied confidently, I am an NRI working in Dubai and the fund has come from my overseas income. They asked for the proof of residential address and she had given each and every detail which is required. But the IT department tells her that you are resident and taxes are due. Shocked by this, she did contact me. I told her to calculate the days that she was in UAE and within India. And she sat down and counted every entry into India, every exit, every desperate trip home during her father's illness. That made her to get the biggest shock of her life. The numbers told a story that she was not prepared for. She had breached 182 days in India and not once but twice for 2 consecutive years. That's why she got the notice from IT department. She was thinking she was working in UAE and she's an NRI, but she was not. She had unknowingly become a tax resident for Indian taxation, which meant her entire Dubai income, everything she had earned abroad, suddenly became taxable income for India. And her taxable income in rupees was around 65 to 70 lakhs, and the tax liability had crossed 36 lakhs with cess and penalties for each year. She tried to explain the cancer, the treatment, the impossible choice between being with her dying father and maintaining an NRI status, everything to the tax department. But law has no emotions. Violations carry no sympathy clause. They are just fact-based, mechanical, unforgiving. You either complied or you didn't. Your reasons will not change any interpretation or calculation. IT department did the same and they said, pay us 36 lakhs. She didn't have the money. She spent a lot on her father's treatment, but the IT department was not ready to negotiate, right? They will just enforce what law tells, and it will not accommodate her circumstance. So, the only one asset she had, which was apartment, what she had bought, she had to sell it off. The same apartment which she bought for her parents where actually they were living. Not knowing one rule on NRI status had destroyed her finances and family's future. We all need to learn from this incident. For us, the key takeaway is just because you have visa from one country, working in one country, you don't become NRI. There are 2 conditions that can kill your NRI status. First, stay in India more than 182 days. You're automatically losing NRI status. Second, if you stay 60 days or more in the current year and 365 days when you take cumulatively the 4 years block in the preceding 4 years, you are resident. Either condition triggers full taxation on your global income. Every dirham, every dollar, every pound that you are earning abroad, it comes within the tax bracket. Now let's look at the second case. Here, a US-based NRI, he had paid 41 lakhs in penalty after holding a piece of land for 18 long years. And the land had originally costed him only 13.7 lakhs. When he came to us around 2 years back, he was 50 years old and he had hailed from a lower middle class background. And he wanted to purchase, and he had purchased a land in India. But one decision from 18 years ago was about to destroy a significant chunk of everything that he had built. In this case, RBI just did not impose a penalty. They instructed him to sell off the land immediately to a resident Indian. After holding it for 18 years, watching it to appreciate from 13.7 lakhs to 1.6 crores nearly, where he had a gain of 1.4 crores on paper, he had to pay 41 lakhs penalty. That means where is actual return? Nothing in 2 decades, right? Years of appreciation wiped out. His mistake was he purchased an agricultural land as an NRI and he sat over it. If you know, as per FEMA regulation, NRIs are not allowed to buy agricultural land. There are only two narrow exceptions. First, you can inherit agricultural land from a relative, and you can also receive it as a gift from immediate family member. But these exceptions come with conditions. You cannot immediately turn around and use it, the gifted or inherited property for speculative purpose or commercial exploitation. Why is the government so strict about this? You might be thinking. Because they don't want any foreign control or speculation over agriculture, which is the backbone of Indian economy. Just think about it. The government welcomes foreign direct investment in nearly every sector, right? Be it technology, manufacturing, retail, infrastructure, even defense. But when it comes to agriculture, it is very firm. It remains firmly in prohibited category. Why? Because food security is national security. The government will not allow any foreign entity or foreign person, including NRIs, to control agricultural land or use it, hoard it for speculation purpose. So what you should do if you want to buy agricultural land? Absolutely, like you want to go ahead. As an NRI or OCI, there is only one legal route. Apply for prior approval from RBI before making purchase. Submit your application, explain the purpose, provide all the necessary document, and wait for RBI's decision. If you try to buy agricultural land without approval, thinking that you are going to get away with it, thinking that nobody will notice, thinking that you are going to regularize it later, you're just making the same mistake which I have explained now they have made. Be aware of that. Now let's look into the third case, which is very common in NRIs in GCC. This is a story of NRI from Saudi Arabia, and he did not know about one local regulation, and his wife and daughters lost half of everything he built in 25 years. When this NRI widow came to me 2 years ago, she was still in shock. Here is what happened. This man had moved to Saudi Arabia in his late 20s, hardworking, disciplined. Over 2.5 decades, he had built a decent life, saving, investment, property back in India, enough to secure his family's future. Then one morning in 2022, he collapsed at work. Cardiac arrest. Gone within hours. His wife and 2 daughters, they assumed that everything he owned and earned would come to them. After all, that's how it works in India, right? That's what any reasonable person would expect in that situation. They were completely, devastatingly wrong because he died in Saudi and he has never written a will. Now, Saudi court applied Sharia law to his entire estate. It did not matter whether he was Muslim or non-Muslim. He was non-Muslim in this case. And it really did not matter what Indian law said. He died on Saudi soil and local law prevails. As per Sharia rules, the estate was split into certain proportion. His wife got a proportion, daughters also got proportion, so his elderly parents and also his siblings. The family he had worked so hard, it just ended up with just 50% of what he had earned in 25 years. The rest distributed to the family members according to Islamic law. Actually, there was a rift in the family, his brothers, sisters on one side and NRI's daughter and wife on another side. He would have really wanted all the property and assets to go to his wife and kids. But it did not happen. Wife tried to prove the liking and intention, months of legal battles, court appearances in 2 countries, all the transaction costs, document attestation, lawyers' fees piling up. This widow was simultaneously fighting all this, legal battles. And in the end, the estate was divided exactly as per Sharia law. Not a single rupee went more to his wife or his daughters, who were still studying. Here is the reality nobody tells you when you move abroad. In UAE, courts usually apply the deceased personal law in the absence of will, if at all the surviving dependent requests for that. That is a huge breather for UAE residents, but a properly executed will can put an end to all the procedures. And this is what we want to do, right? To keep our family secure. In UAE it is different, in Oman it is different, Qatar it may be different. There are slight differences how the estate is going to be distributed. So, will is absolutely necessary to protect the wealth that you have accumulated as an NRI. But to accumulate that wealth and to go to that stage, you have to save. So when we are thinking of saving, apps like Aspora steps in. Use Aspora when you are remitting money from foreign country to India. If you are remitting money from UK, US and UAE, you can use Keerthi 5 code and avail special offer. The link is in description. So download Aspora and start your first transfer. That's it for today. See you next week with another interesting video. Till then, bye-bye.